You know the feeling, that flash of white-hot anger when another car cuts you off, that cold dread in your stomach when an unexpected email from your boss hits your inbox late at night, that lingering frustration after a pointless argument that just follows you around, poisoning the rest of your day. For most of us, life feels like this, a chaotic, unpredictable storm of emotions. One moment we're calm, and the next, we've been hijacked, pulled into cycles of anger, worry, or fear. We feel like puppets, and our emotions are pulling the strings. In a single instant, our entire internal world can be flipped upside down by one comment, a bit of bad news, or even a random thought. We've been handed a broken model for how to deal with this. We're told to either let it all out and express every feeling, no matter how raw, or we're told to bottle it up and pretend it's not there. But both paths lead to the same dead end: powerlessness. One makes us a slave to our reactions, damaging our relationships and our reputation. The other makes us a prisoner of our own feelings as they fester in the dark, only to explode later with even more force. But what if there was a third path? What if emotional freedom wasn't about more expression or more suppression? Over 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosophers discovered a secret that most of us still don't get. They realized the key to mastering your emotions isn't about trying to control the chaotic world outside of you, but in flipping one simple switch inside your own mind. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that switch is and how you can use it to reclaim your inner peace for good. The one core teaching. The entire foundation of Stoic resilience is built on a single, earth-shattering idea. It's a principle so simple, yet so profound, that once you really get it, your relationship with your own mind will change forever. It comes from Epictetus, a man who was once enslaved and became a legendary philosopher. He said, "People are disturbed not by things themselves, but by the views they take of them." Let's say that again, because it's the most important thing you'll hear all day. It is not events that disturb us, but our judgment of events. This is the master switch. This is the secret. The thing that causes you pain, triggers your anger, or fuels your anxiety is not the external event itself. It's the story you tell yourself about it, the label you attach to it, the judgment you pass on it. Think about it. Two people are walking down the street, and a car barrels through a puddle, splashing them both with muddy water. Person A is instantly enraged, fists clenched, face hot. They think, "How dare they? That idiot ruined my suit. My whole day is shot. People are so disrespectful." Their mind is flooded with anger, and their entire afternoon is spent fuming. Person B, standing right next to them, gets just as wet, but their reaction is totally different. They look down at their clothes, let out a laugh, and think, "Well, that was unexpected. Guess I'll have to change. Good thing I wasn't on my way to a wedding." They might be a little annoyed at the inconvenience, but their inner peace is basically untouched. The event? It was identical for both. A car splashed them. The objective reality was the same. So what was the difference? It was the internal judgment. Person A layered a story of disrespect, injustice, and personal attack onto the event. Person B layered on a story of minor inconvenience and absurdity. The event itself had no emotional power. All the power came from the interpretation. The Stoics realized that between the stimulus, the thing that happens, and our response, there is a space. And in that space lies our power, our freedom. In that space, we get to choose how we interpret the event. Most people don't even know this space exists. They live in a state of automatic reaction. The stimulus hits and the emotional response is immediate. But the Stoic trains to live in that space, to make it wider, to pause, analyze, and consciously choose the judgment they apply. This isn't about not feeling. It's about deciding how you feel by deciding what you believe. Section 1. The foundational practice: create the space with the pause. So, how do we actually start using this, especially in the heat of the moment? The first, most critical step is to master the art of the pause. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, arguably the most powerful man on earth at the time, was constantly dealing with betrayal, incompetence, and the stress of war and plague. His private journal, now known as Meditations, is filled with notes to himself to not react on impulse. The philosopher Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." This isn't just ancient wisdom, it's practical cognitive science. When something triggers you, a critical comment, a project failing, someone being rude, your body has an initial gut reaction. This is the first wave. Your heart might race. Your stomach might clench. The Stoics recognize this is mostly involuntary. You can't stop that first jolt. But what comes next is what matters. After that first primal reaction, there's a second wave, and this is where your choice lies. The pause is your weapon to catch yourself before that second wave of full-blown emotion takes over. It's a deliberate, conscious decision to stop and create space. In practice, it's incredibly simple. When you feel that flash of anger or spike of anxiety, you just stop. You do nothing. You take one deep breath. If someone says something infuriating, you don't have to fire back immediately. You can say, "Let me think about that for a second." If you get a frustrating email, you don't have to hammer out a furious reply. You can get up, walk away, and grab a glass of water. The goal of the pause isn't to pretend the emotion isn't there. It's to give your rational mind a chance to catch up. Anger, as Seneca said, is a brief madness. It shuts down clear thinking. The pause is like hitting a circuit breaker. It interrupts the automatic emotional program that's about to run and buys you the precious few seconds you need to engage the logical part of your brain. Think of an emotional reaction as a wildfire. The trigger is the initial spark. If you let it, it will instantly ignite the dry grass of your automatic thoughts and rage out of control. The pause is a firebreak. It's that barren strip of land, a moment of intentional silence that stops the fire in its tracks, giving you time to calmly assess the situation instead of just getting burned. Without the pause, none of the other techniques matter because you'll already be lost in the inferno. Section 2. The forensic tool. Separate fact from story. Once you've used the pause to create that bit of space, you can pull out your second tool, forensic analysis. You need to become a detective at the scene of your own emotional disturbance. Your mission is to separate the cold, hard facts from the subjective story you've created. Marcus Aurelius constantly coached himself on this. He wrote, "The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are." This means stripping away your judgments, assumptions, and catastrophic predictions until all you have left is the bare, undeniable fact of what happened. So, you've paused. Now, you ask yourself one powerful question. What actually happened versus what story am I telling myself about it? Let's go back to our examples. The late-night email from your boss. The fact is, you received an email with the subject urgent, project update at 8 p.m. The story might be, "I messed up. The project is a total disaster. My boss hates me. I'm definitely getting fired. This is a catastrophe." See the difference? The fact is neutral. It's just data. The story is an avalanche of fear and negative assumptions. Or the car that cut you off. The fact is, a silver car changed lanes in front of you. The story is, that person is a selfish, arrogant jerk who thinks their time is more important than mine. They did that on purpose to disrespect me. This is the core of the practice. You have to learn to see the line between the event and your opinion of it. Epictetus taught that we should only focus on what is ours to control, and our judgments are ours to control. The actions of others are not. So, when a negative emotion surges, use your pause to ask, what is the objective fact here? What is the narrative I'm adding on top? Is this story 100% true, or is it just an assumption? What are some other possible interpretations? Maybe the driver who cut you off was rushing to the hospital. Maybe they were distracted by a personal crisis and made a mistake. Maybe they're just a terrible driver. The point is, you don't know. The story of their malicious intent is a fiction you wrote. By seeing it as a story, not a fact, you rob it of its power. You realize your anger isn't caused by their driving, it's caused by your judgment of their driving. When you do this consistently, you start to see just how much of your emotional pain is self-inflicted. It's not the world that's constantly attacking you. It's your own mind that's interpreting the world as an attack. By separating fact from story, you take back the pen and become the author of your own inner experience. Section 3. The power shift, the art of acceptance. After you've paused and separated fact from story, you're left with the stark reality of what happened. This is where the third step comes in, radical acceptance. The Stoics called this the art of acquiescence. It means to accept, not resist, the things that are outside of your control. This is often the hardest step because people mistake it for weakness or giving up. It's the exact opposite. Acceptance isn't resignation. It's not saying, "I like that this happened." It is simply acknowledging, "This has happened, and I will not waste my energy fighting a reality that already exists." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is a game-changing insight. Resisting reality, fuming that you're stuck in traffic, getting angry that it's raining, obsessing over a mistake you already made, is like trying to push a river upstream. It's a complete waste of energy that only creates more suffering. Acceptance is turning around and flowing with the river, saving your strength for what you can actually control, your next move. This practice is rooted in what the Stoics called the dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that some things are up to us and some things are not. Within our power are our opinions, our choices, and our actions. Outside our power is almost everything else: our body, our reputation, external events, and what other people do. The path to peace, he argued, is to focus all our energy on what we can control and to accept the rest. So, in our examples, you got splashed by the car. You cannot unsplash yourself. Fighting this fact is pointless. Acceptance is acknowledging, "I am wet, this is reality. Now, what's next?" That's where your power is. Your project failed. You can't turn back time. Acceptance is saying, "The project failed. That is a fact. Now, what can I learn? How do I move forward?" Someone was rude to you. You can't control their behavior. Acceptance is acknowledging, "They chose to act that way. That's a reflection of them, not me. Now, how will I choose to respond?" Acceptance transforms you from a victim into a strategist. A victim complains about the rain. A strategist builds a shelter. By accepting the unchangeable facts of the moment, you free up a massive amount of mental energy that was being wasted on useless resistance. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "Given that this has happened, what will I do now?" That shift is the very definition of personal power. Section 4. The Resilience Builder. Practice negative visualization. The previous steps are about managing emotions as they happen. But what if you could train yourself to be less reactive in the first place? What if you could build a kind of psychological armor against the shocks of life? This is where one of the most counterintuitive yet powerful Stoic exercises comes in: premeditatio malorum, which roughly translates to the premeditation of evils. We can just call it negative visualization. Now, this is not about being a pessimist or drowning in anxiety. It's the opposite. It's a deliberate, controlled exercise where you imagine losing the things you value. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, would regularly imagine losing his fortune, his status, even his life. He would practice sleeping on a hard floor or eating stale bread, not to punish himself, but to prove to himself that he could endure hardship. This practice works on two levels. First, it's a form of stress inoculation. By voluntarily exposing your mind to worst-case scenarios, they lose their emotional sting. As Seneca wrote, "What is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect, and unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster." By thinking about potential misfortunes, losing your job, getting sick, a relationship ending, you rob them of the element of surprise. If something bad does happen, your mind has already rehearsed it and the blow is softened. Second, and maybe more importantly, negative visualization is an incredible gratitude tool. We are all victims of something called hedonic adaptation. We quickly get used to the good things in our lives and start taking them for granted. That loving partner, that stable job, your good health, they all become background noise. Negative visualization forces them back into the spotlight. Each morning, take just a moment to genuinely contemplate the loss of something you cherish. Imagine your life without a loved one. Imagine your health failing. Imagine losing your home. Don't just think it. Try to feel it for a second. The effect is immediate and paradoxical. When you open your eyes back to your present reality, the feeling isn't dread, but overwhelming relief and gratitude. The partner who was annoying you 5 minutes ago is now a precious gift. The job that felt like a grind is now a source of stability. You appreciate what you have, right now. By regularly visiting worst-case scenarios in a controlled way, you build resilience for when things go wrong, and you cultivate a deep appreciation for when they're going right. You become both tougher and more grateful. You learn that even if the worst happens, you can handle it, and you realize that your present moment, even with all its flaws, is something to be cherished. So, what does life actually look like when you start living by these principles? It's not a life without feeling. That's the biggest misconception about Stoicism. It's not about becoming a robot. It's about becoming the calm, steady conductor of your emotional orchestra, instead of just one instrument being played by the chaotic whims of the world. It means that when anger flashes, you see it and acknowledge it, but you don't become it. You have the space to decide if it's a useful response, and you almost always conclude it's not. It means when anxiety about the future creeps in, you can pull your focus back to the present, to what you can control right here, right now. It means when you suffer a setback, a failure, a rejection, a loss, you let yourself feel the sting, but you don't get stuck in a story of victimhood. You accept the new reality and immediately start looking for the opportunity inside of it, the lesson to learn, the strength to build, the new path forward. Mastering this one core idea that our judgments, not events, cause our suffering is the key that unlocks everything. It's not easy, and it's not a one-time fix. It is a lifelong practice. As Marcus Aurelius said, your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. You train yourself day by day. You practice the pause. You practice separating fact from story. You practice acceptance. You practice visualizing loss to find gratitude. Every time you do, you're strengthening the muscle of your rational mind and weakening the grip of your automatic reactions. You don't have to be a slave to the chaos. The remote control for your inner world isn't out there somewhere, it's been in your hand all along. Master this teaching, practice these steps, and you will find a level of peace, resilience, and freedom you never thought possible. You will no longer be controlled by negative emotions because you'll finally understand that you were the one in control all along. If this video resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our future videos on practical philosophy for modern life. And I have a question for you. Which emotion do you feel hijacks you the most? Is it anger, anxiety, frustration, or something else? Let me know in the comments below. Reading about each other's journeys is a powerful reminder that we're all in this together. Thank you for watching.